Today we pull our 1x dice sets together and see if they can make us money in the casino. Stick around. There's an endless debate in the craps community. Can dice setting actually create a player advantage? Between the grip, the load, the launch, and the landing, the sources of variation seem endless. But if we can minimize those variables with consistent technique, can we actually find an edge? How many rolls can a specific set survive before the dreaded 7 ends the run? We're putting the physics to the test and collecting the raw data. Is it skill or just plain luck? Let's find out on this episode of What Are the Odds? Today's the day we put the 1x dice sets together. First, we're going to take a complete look at all of our data collection, which was 249 rolls, and do a little bit of a breakdown of why we choose to do what we do in our casino strategy. In combining our 1-2, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-5 dice sets, you can see we had more favorability toward the low end or the left side of the 7, with the 4, 5, and 6 outperforming the standard. We also do see the 9 performing just slightly more favorable than the standard, while the 7 performed right about at standard, slightly below. Combining it all to our sister numbers, the box numbers look really great. The 4 and 10 are basically at standard, with the 5 and 9 and 6 and 8 exceeding standard. Our hardways overall look pretty good, with the 8 underperforming, and our horn rolls are to be desired. We see everything here really underperforming, and our see a horn, bet a horn only giving us 2 opportunities across 4 different dice sets, which resulted in 249 rolls. And putting these dice set summaries side by side, we deemed the 1-2, 1-2 and the 1-2, 1-3 as light side strategies given how far above 60 rolls they made it. The 1-2, 1-4 was deemed a dark side strategy, and the 1-2, 1-5 was deemed neither. It was more neutral, hitting almost at 60 rolls. So if we were to build a dice setting strategy at the casino table for the 1-2, 1x, we would only use the 1-2, 1-4 on a come out roll. Again, we were producing the most 7s with this roll, so we want to see if the pass line can benefit from producing a 7. With the 1-2, 1-2 and the 1-2, 1-3 leaning toward light side strategies, we will play these while we're trying to hit our point, and we'll randomly alternate these 2 dice sets while the puck is on. And given the neutrality of the 1-2, 1-5, we will bring this into the rotation only after each shooter is in profit. And again, it'll just be randomized within a rotation. We're keeping our strategy very simple and straightforward. So let's go over and shoot these dice and see how the strategy performs. Well, welcome everybody to Casino Simulation Day, where we're going to test out our 1-2, 1x dice sets. So we will do this with a rack, 5 blue chips representing 5 shooters. If I were at the casino, I'd be carrying a bankroll for 10, but for the purposes of time, we'll be doing 5 at $110 a piece. So that means our bankroll is going to be $550. And in addition to that, we're also going to bring in an additional $10 in singles. So that's just in case we need to make some proper bets and we don't want to dip into our original bankroll. So starting out with $560. And as always, never go into a casino with money you are not willing to part with. Okay, so just keep that in mind, right? So it's easy to have an exit strategy when you lose all your money, but you should also be considering an exit strategy when you're up. I like to use the 50% rule, but we're not going to utilize the 50% rule during the shootout because we want to actually go through all 5 shooters. So as mentioned, we'll start out every pass line, come out roll rather, with the 1-2, 1-4. I am not going to play the pass line until shooter number 5, and that's only if I have bankroll of $135. And if we need to elaborate on that further when we get there, we will. So here we go on the come out roll with shooter number 1. And my hardways are covered because I do not play hardways, but I will play the horn. Side note. Here we go. 1-2-1-4, producing a 7 right out of the gate. So if you're on the pass line, you won. And I believe this roll set, wasn't it like 43 rolls until we hit our 10 sevens? So this was a roll set that basically screamed at us, stay away or play the dark side. Wow, that is dice off the table. Try that again, 1, 2, 1, 4 out the gate. All right, we're out on the 6. Our bets will follow the puck. So if we do have money out there with the puck off, our bets will also remain off. Dealer, I need 110 inside, please. We are playing at the $25 level. It's just a lot easier to manage this. A lot less fumbling with checks. All right, we'll start out with our 1, 2, 1, 2. Alternate then to the 1, 2, 1, 3. That is going to get deemed a 4. Yep, fell nicely as a 4. Unfortunately, it does not help us, so we'll roll again, but with the 1, 2, 1, 3 dice set. That's a yo 11. As I mentioned, I will play the C or craps, but I do not have any additional money beyond my initial $560 bankroll, so I will not be playing that. Back to the 1, 2, 1, 2. Back to back, so, you know, had a C bet up there for $5, would pay $35. Had I been in the damn field instead of on the 9, we'd be covering all the numbers right now. This is the way it works. You just never know. 1, 2, 1, 3. 3 11s in a row. And I would have converted that $5 into 35, been 20 in the horn, meaning I would have just picked up $75 hitting that 11. So yeah, win some, lose some. I already am getting a sense for how this roll session is going to go. But hey, that's not a very positive attitude, is it? So you will notice I ooze a lot of sarcasm and am very cynical at times. I swear I don't get like this in the actual casino. It just seems to get me at the simulation table here. So that's going to pay 35. So just to show you real quickly what I will do with this 35, this is the only time I'll show it. So I'm actually going to take all these guys up to 34. So really what I'm doing is starting by going 22 across. So here I'll show you with, there's 5 and 1s plus 20 in red. So I go 5s across, making proppers, right? So that's my 25, and then I have these 2 checks here, and I'll go the inside numbers, the 6 and the 8, because they have the better odds of hitting, and again, to make those proppers, that's $35 to take that up. So I'm bringing $1 back to the rack, okay? I promise that's the last time I will go through that exercise. In the interest of time, I just want to make sure we're all clear. And I don't remember if that was 1, 2, or 1, 3, but we said we're just going to alternate between these guys. So that's lovely, 7 out, and we're $109 down. But who's keeping track, right? Oh, that's right, we are, because we care about our dice set and statistics. Okay, shooter number 2. So what is the goal here? What am I trying to do with this strategy? Well, it's a simple strategy. I'm trying to cover all the numbers, all the box numbers. And the goal is to take them all to a level where 1, 2, 1, 4 for the come out roll, shooter number 2, where they're all paying 2 green for 1 white. Okay. And that's a 9. So 110 to the dealer. Dealer like 110 across on the inside. And once we're getting our 2 green for 1 white, and we get comfortably in profit level, then we'll start moving money around in other places. But we need to crawl before we walk, let alone sprint. And right now we are just trying to get something going. 1 2 1 2 to start. There's a 5. That's a hit. $35. And as mentioned, I'm going to go 34 up. So that's $1 and change coming back to me. And then I've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 32, 34. Dollar back to the rack. All right, come on. Let's get some more inside hits here. 1 2 1 3. That's a yo 11. Again, I don't have a red check here that's outside my initial bankroll, so it's another CE opportunity missed. So we'll move on to the 1 2 1 3. That is a 6, and we definitely made a wise investment there on that 6. By luck. There is 2 green for 1 white, and I'm going to immediately put those green in play. So my initial $110 bankroll has all the numbers covered. Everything that we have made has been reinvested. That is a 5. That 5 is going to pay 42. And we will drop the dealer $10 and tell the dealer to please take up our 5 and our 9. So everything out here right now will return 2 green for 1 white. The pump is primed. Now it needs to start producing. 1 2 1 3. That is an 8. That is an 8 and a $49 net. Dealer's putting out 2 green and bringing back 1 white. Better yet, the player is racking 2 green and putting out 1 white. All right, moving into the 1 2 1 3. I don't remember what I was on. It's okay. That is a 6. Again, we are 2 green for 1 white. And the great news is we're in the profit. We're in the profit. We can get in on horn bets, and we can put our 1 2 1 5 in the mix. Remember, 16.7% chance, or if we want to think positively, 83.3% chance that this produces a nice number for us. We will take an 8. We will take an 8. Okay, that's 2 green for 1 white. And we'll go back to the 1 2 1 2. That's a yo 11. So not only do I have a red check, I also do have profit on this shooter. So we will make a CE bet. And we'll go back on the 1 2 1 2, hoping for a horn repeater. See a horn, bet a horn. That is an 8, not a horn, but no big deal. We are getting 2 green for 1 white. In fact, I notice I'm dipping into my initial $10 in singles payroll, so I'm just going to ask him for a proper payment in the next payout. Assuming I get there, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. There's a 1 2 1 3 horn. I will ask the dealer for check change. I thought I was 1 short there. So we're going to play the CE, bring 20 back to the rack. And let's put that back on the 1, 2, 1, 3 in hopes that we can repeat a horn. No horn repeater, again, no big deal. So 2 green. I am going to make change out of this guy for 1 white, so there's my 4 and change. And what I'm going to ask the dealer here is, since that was a 6, we're going to take the 6 up. $6, and actually we're going to do the same on the 8 and take him up $6. So the 6 and the 8 are now going to pay out 56. And there's a good reason why that is important, and I will explain if we get to that point. Let's go with a 1, 2, 1, 5. 83.3% chance. Let's do it. That's a 6. And we're smacking those insides. It's good. Okay, so as I mentioned, that pays out 56. Here's the beauty. I don't owe $1 for change. I get to put 5 on a CE. Rack 50, $1. So now I don't have to wait for a C, a horn, bet a horn. Hopefully I can just hit one here and then move right inside to making 4 horn bets. That is a 9er, and that is hitting our point. Point smacked. We lose the CE, but we're making 50 for 1. Okay, so since I'm up in the profit here, I am going to go on the pass line for this shooter. Again, we're still on shooter number 2. Shooter 2 is going to come out. Our bets are all off. You know, pass line bet obviously is in play, but the 1, 2, 1, 4 seem to be good for the pass line. It is a 9 in this case as our point, and we're going to take our 9 and just put 30 in odds to start. So I would pay 45 in the odds. We'll go 1, 2, 1, 2. That's a 6. 6 is going to pay 56. And what I'm going to do here is 5 on the CE, $1 into the rack. I'm going to take my odds up to 50. So at 50 now I'll pay 75. And I will bring the 25 and the original 5 that I had on my odds back to the rack. So there's $30 back to the rack. And we're going to shoot the 1, 2, 1, 3. This will be our dice set. Man, we are smacking that 6. You know, based on us smacking that 6, this is what I enjoy when you're in a position where you can get a little creative here. So CE, $1 in the rack. I'm going to ask the dealer to take my 6 up to $60. So that 60 will pay 70. And we're bringing money back to the rack. What was that? $38 back to the rack. And the 1, 2, 1, 5 is in rotation. That is a Yo 11. While we're on the CE, we like that. That is going to pay 35. That's 7 to 1. And what I'm going to do then is drop a nickel from my rack, put 25 in the rack, and now I've got my 4 horn bets. And we're going to move into the 1, 2, 1, 2 rather than re-roll that. Hopefully this can produce one more. Okay, no horn produced there, but that's all right. That is a 9er. Horn bet's coming down. And oh, the 9 is our point. Geez, I got so distracted by that horn. So that's going to pay 1-1 on the pass line and 3-2 on the odds. So that is a pretty nice win. We're $500 right there. So we've definitely made up for first and second shooters, and then some. So we're doing pretty darn good here right now. So coming back out, 1-2-1-4 we said was our best come out strategy for a pass line. For that very reason right there, it's a 7 pass line gets paid. And we'll definitely use that in our odds. Let's see if we can repeat that. 1-2-1-4. Bam! 7 once again. I have a feeling we're going to be putting more on the 4-10. In fact, I know we're going to be doing that, given what we just did there. It's nice having the bank's money working for us. 1-2-1-4 produced 3 7s in a row. Guys, there might be something to be said about this data collection dice set. I don't know, is it coincidence? Or is the 1-2-1-4 superior at producing pass line favorability? Guys, that's 4 in a row. That is 4 in a row. We we are not complaining here. Oh, look, I'm so discombobulated. I went to reach for more greens and I'm picking up the puck. This is incredible. One, 2, 1, 4. 3 craps 3. You know, you figure you got to give it back somehow, right? But I'm still not complaining. That'll come back and we're going to go right back out. One, 2, 1, 4. All right, puppy paws. That is a 10. That's a great number to be out on. Those odds pay 2-1. So let's come out on the 10. We're going to tell the dealer to move our quarter over to the 9. We'll take that up to 50 to match, or I'm sorry, excuse me. We'll take that up to 35, so it'll pay 49 for 1, 50 for 1. I need to slow down. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay, and then here's what we're going to do. We are, with this money that we won in the pass line, we're going to take the 4 up, so that'll pay black for 2 white, and we're going to put 50 in odds on our 10 behind the pass line, and that is no commission. That'll pay straight up black chip if we smack that 10. So let's start out with a 1-2-1-2. Come on, we've seen way too many big reds. We don't need to see any more for a little bit. Let's go with some streaks. That's an 8. That 8 is paying 56. And just like the 6, I'm going to ask the dealer to take me up to 60 on that guy. So I'll give him a quarter. He'll leave 10 behind. And we'll continue racking. In fact, I'm going to just get on the CE right now, out of the gate. And one more thing, I'm going to drop the dealer $10 just to get my 5 and 9 up to $56 payouts as well, so I can continue working the CE bets. So it's really easy to get stupid with your money too when you start building your rack like that. I'm looking at, $500 rack of greens and starting on a second row. So it's easy to be carefree at the moment. So that's an 8. Bummer, we lose this, big deal. We're actually getting 75 for 5 in this case, right? because this 60 will pay 70. So I'm putting 3 green in for 1 red at this level. And you know what? I'm not going to play the CE right now. I don't need the CE, although it is nice when you do get into the horn and that 30-1 hits. Puppy paws, 10 hitting the point. Oh my, we are loving this. 1-1 on the pass line and 2-1 in odds. We racked our first black, folks. So this is a dream to have this happen in a casino, but I'm very thrilled that it's happening during a rollout. All right, we need to set a new point, and the 1-2-1-4 has been determined to be our come out roll. And we're out on the 6. So we're gonna move $50 over 10. And then for our 6, we're going to put 50 in odds. That 50 will pay 60. All right, starting over at the 1-2-1-2. That's a 5. That 5 is going to pay 56. We can work the CE. And again, given where we are here, I'm just going to ask the dealer to take me up to the $50 level on the 5 and 9. And those will end up paying 70 as well. So all of my inside numbers here will pay 70. My 4 and 10 will pay 98, or 1 black for 2 whites. I do have a CE opportunity here. So let's set the 1-2-1-3. That's a 6. That smacks our points. We lose the CE. Big deal. 1-1 on the pass line, and our 50 will end up paying us 60. Guys, I need to make a change here. I thought it was filled up here in my greens. So give me 1 second. Apologize. I mean, this is an incredible roll. I'm very pleased with what this is producing as a verified 500. All right, we have that coming back to the rack. And yeah, we'll go from here. All right, let's set a new point. 1-2-1-4 on the come out. It's a 3 craps 3. We lose the pass line. No one's feelings are hurt. We'll go back out on the pass line. So here's the other thing. You know, recognizing when you're up, which we clearly are, like, can you walk away from this? Yeah, you could, but realize you're working with the casino's money right now. So why not just continue leveraging it? It's money you did not have when you came into the casino, and it's free money that you have to leverage right now. That is a hard 4. We will be out on the 4. So it's about leveraging opportunity in this case, which we are doing. So I'm going to move those into my odds. I almost stole the bank's money to put up my 6. I'm going to put $60 on my 6. So again, we have $70 payouts on the 5, 6, 8, and 9, and then a black chip on the end for 2, and the black and odds on the pass line for hitting our point. 1-2-1-2. Puppy Paws 10, man. Take that all day long. Dealer's dropping black, and we're giving them 2 white. I'm gonna be honest. Whenever this does end, because it will, I would, at a real casino, walk. Back-to-back 10s. Back-to-back 10s, black for 2 white. That is, according to Casino Quest, 2 baked potatoes at La Falcon Blue. Go 1, 2, 1, 5. That is an 8. 60 pays 70, and dealer will drop me 75 for 5. And again, if you're happy at this level, great. You can leverage more risk here. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm staring at all these blacks going, we're kind of being foolish not reinvesting. So, sure, let's take our, I don't even know what the hell to take these up anymore beyond the 70 level. I don't get here very often. So 60, 72, that would be another $24. So I'm going to ask the dealer to take the 6 and the 8 up 12. That's my $25 coming back to the rack. So we are 72. So 72, that 12, that pays 84. Yeah, this is where I'm going to start losing track and stepping all over myself. That is aces in both places. We are definitely going in on, you know what, with this money here, give me a horn high, yo. I'm okay to part with $25 because any number I hit out there will certainly make up for it. That is a 4 point is smacked. Who cares about losing 25 bucks when you're getting 25 on the pass line and 100 in odds? I almost feel like we just need to end this video here because this is going on forever. Like this is a crazy roll that we're on. Absolutely crazy roll. 1, 2, 1, 4 to come out. We're only on the second shooter. That is a 6. The dice is on the table. It's going to flip when I pull it up onto the mat. But that was a 1. So we are out on the 6. So we'll move 50 over. Just bank the balance of that right now. And then our 6, we will just put 50 in odds behind the 6. Remember that 8 pays 84. We're going to start out on a 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. And there it is, a PSO after God knows how many rolls that ended up being, but incredible, just an incredible run. This table would likely be going absolutely bonkers in a casino. And I gotta tell you, when you're not at that table that's going bonkers, it's incredibly frustrating. And you almost start feeling resentment toward those who are rolling in all these hits. Yeah, all right, call it jealousy. We'll call it resentment. Call it what you want. All right, guys, I'm gonna make change real quick. All right, shooter number 3. I guess that's mine as well. Shooter number 3. Coming out on the 1, 2, 1, 4. And again, me personally, I am not playing the pass line until shooter 5. Or in a case like what we just experienced where I'm out of the hand, the point was hit, and I can get back in on the pass line, I will. But my strategy is, for the point is 6, is $110 to start. And that's why I need to be able to cover those inside numbers, and I can't do that if I'm on the pass line. And then 4 or 10 is a point. One, two, 1, 2. It's a yo 11. Did I say yo 11? It's yo 11. Yo 11? Yo 11. 1, 2. We're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 3. What the heck? That is a 6. So unfortunately, it's only gonna net us 30 because we lost the 5 in the CE, but who cares? All right, again, I'm gonna go up here $34. So the dealer's gonna drop me $1, and then he's gonna take me up 5, 10, 15, 20, inside 25, 30. 32, 34. So my 6 and 8 will be paying 49, while the 5 and 9 pay 42. And yeah, I could cover the 4 and 10 right now, but again, I'm playing each individual shooter separately. So I want to work up to those levels. That is a 9er. That 9er is going to pay 42. Okay, so I'm going to take up the 5, I'm going to take up the 9, and then we're just going to hold on to that quarter right now until we get our next quarter. So yeah, we do risk, actually, matter of fact, you know what I've done before? I will put that in the field. That way, you know, even if I hit those inside numbers, I still net 24 bucks. That's a 12, and that pays double on this table. And that's definitely a great time to be in the field. So with that, we can buy our 4 and our 10 and bring 25 back to the rack. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2. That was a short roll, but it did bounce and hit the wall, so landing zone was short, guys. That's gonna pay 2 green for 1 white. And 1 more of those hits and we are out of the hand. Now, I'll tell you what, for good measure, let's just throw some CE out there right now. 1, 2, 1, 3. Worst time to put out that CE because we were not in profit with that shooter. But again, just absolutely destroying it with that shooter number 2. This is unheard of. I'm really curious to see how many rolls that was. We'll take a look at that briefly at the end. Okay, shooter number 4. The 1, 2, 1, 4 come out, roll. That's 7. So anybody on the pass line, 1, 2, 1, 4 paid off for them. 1, 2, 1, 4. There's another 7. Man, there is something to be said about that dice set. 1, 2, 1, 4. Out on the 10. And we want 110 on the inside. And here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's 4. The other outside number. No help to us. 1, 2, 1, 3. That's an 8. The 8's going to pay 35. Dealer take me up 34 inside. Dealer knows what I want to do right now. Give me that dollar back. He's going to take this. He's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 32, 34. 6 and 8 are paying 49. All the 5 and 9 are paying 42. Start over again at the 1, 2, 1, 2. That's an 8. That is going to pay 2 green for 1 white. And we will buy our 4 and 9. We have 2 more numbers out there that'll pay 2 green for 1 white. 1, 2, 1, 3. Oh, that was a long throw. But it worked in our favor. That's a hard 6. Hard 6 paying 2 green for 1 white. I think that was our first hit on that roll. I'm so discombobulated with my rack right now. So 1, 2, 1, 2. That's a 5. Boy, we missed an opportunity to take that up. That's going to pay 42, but we'll take care of that right now by dropping the dealer 10. So now everything out there is going to pay 2 green for 1 white. 1, 2, 1, 3. That's a 5. And we are in profit on this shooter. Let's go to the 1, 2, 1, 5. We're in profit. We'll bring it into rotation. 10, smack the point. Fortunately, we weren't on the pass line, but no big deal. We are getting 2 green for 1 white. And we will use one of those greens to go on the pass line since we are in the profit. And we're coming out on the 1, 2, 1, 4. And we'll be on the opposite end of that outside range. On the 4, we'll move the 4 into odds. And I'll wait on a hit to put an additional 25 in odds behind that. In fact, I don't need to hurry up on that whatsoever. 1, 2, 1, 2. See, it's a good thing we didn't do that right out of the gate. That's a quick 7 out, but we made profit on that shooter. Okay, last shooter. That last shooter is going to be me. As I mentioned, only if I had more than $110. Actually, 135 is what I stated. So original bankroll of 110 remaining, plus 25 on the pass line. Oh yeah, and then we've got all these blacks here, which yeah, I am going to gloat about that because that is not common, especially for me. So I'm very pleased with how that shooter number 2 rolled. 1, 2, 1, 4 on the come out. Hey, we'll take a 11. That's going to give us 25. So bring that into the rack. Let's go 1, 2, 1, 4 once again. That landing zone was way too short. That was a terrible roll. So we're giving that profit right back on the pass line. 1, 2, 1, 4. The point will be a 6. So in this situation here, I'm getting check change, but instead of placing the 6, I'm going to put 25 in the field, and we'll bring this additional $5. What the heck? Let's go on the 5 with it. It is invested. Let's start out on a 1, 2, 1, 2. Last shooter, that's me. Man, a good time to be in the field once again, paying 2 to 1 on this table. So we can get out of the field, which is great. I actually hate being in the field. We're going to take this check here and we're going to go up on our units. So let me see what that is real quickly. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, and then go 25. And then I can add my proper bet of $2 on top. I'm primed right here with the exception of the 6. And since I am in the profit, I'm going to go behind on the 6 and we'll put up 30 to win 35 in odds. So let's go 1, 2, 1, 2. Last call tonight. That's 6. We hit our point. And a hard 6 to boot. So we're going to go 1 to 1 on the odds, and then that 30 is going to take 36. I don't know what I said, 35. Okay, so that's all coming back to the rack. And we're technically not out of this hand yet. One, 2, 1, 4 coming out. We're back on the 6. And let's go 30 odds once again. No idea why I'm making that 30 odds. I'm just gonna leave it there for right now. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's a 9er. That 9er will put us in profit on me as the shooter. Or, yeah, if we took our odds back, it would. I'm taking my odds back, leave them out there. 1, 2, 1, 3. So let's just get one more hit and put this to rest. 10. We are definitely in the profit now. It's going to pay 2 for 1. We're in profit. Let's move this over to here so we can kind of see where we're at. All right. So I'm going to take my 6 up to 50 in odds. So 50 will pay 60. And I'll get a little more aggressive here because our shooter 2 just paid us so well. Damn. Good time to boost those odds. That is another hard 6. I feel like I've seen quite a few of those tonight. All right, 1 to 1 there. And then 6 to 5 on the odds. All coming back in. Let's work another come out roll. 1, 2, 1, 4. We are out on the 10. So with the 10, we'll move that into odds, and then I need to go $42 on my 6. And let's go from here. And we'll start reinvesting our hits, starting with the 1, 2, 1, 2. That's a hard 8. That's going to pay 2 for 1 white. Let's take our 8 up to $60. So our 60 will pay 70. One, 2, 1, 3. Bam! Back to back hard 8s, and our 75 for 5 payout has hit. So yeah, why don't we just go up another $30 on the 8, since we're seeing a pattern here. So what is that, 75, 85, 90? That 90 pays 105 if I'm not mistaken, right? Let's go 1, 2, 1, 3. I think that's what that was. 1, 2, 1, 5. 83.3% chance that this is a good roll. And we hit that 16.7% chance of ending it on a 7. Well, we did that little extra push there on that 8 and it didn't pay off, but still in profit on that shooter. So let's see where we were after all of this is said and done. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's $1,722. $1,722 to end the night. $1,722. We started with 560. That is a nice profit. So you may have noticed winnings or earnings discrepancies somewhere along the line, which came to about $41. I either overpaid myself or undercalculated it throughout this editing process. However, focusing on the profits is not the point of this series. We are specifically interested in looking at the statistics of the dice sets. So we're going to go look at that collectively and then individually by dice set now. So looking at the data, and despite us missing that point with shooter number 3, we still would have ended up with 80 rolls. We rolled 12 sevens, which represented 15% of our rolls, and standard is 16.7. So we didn't quite hit the number of sevens we expected to with just 80 rolls. And then looking at the actual number of rolls, that 7 showed up 12 times as opposed to 13.3 times. So 1 fewer times than was expected. The 6 clearly outperforming the 7 17 times versus a standard of 11.1. So clearly dominated in this 80 roll set. And the 10 and 11 also outperformed the standard as well. The 5 and the 4 were underperformers in this case. As you can see, the 5 showing up only 5 times versus nearly 9 that were expected. And then the 4 or 5 times out of the 6.7 that were expected. And our least rolled numbers, no surprise here, were the 2 and the 12. Taking a quick look at our sister sets, the 6 and 8 dominated in this session, with the 3 and 11 also outperforming expectations. The 5 and 9 drastically underperformed, while the 2 and the 12 were close, but still probably fell outside of meeting the standard, whereas the 4 and 10 came right in at the standard. And over to our hard ways, we were green across the board here. The 8 was the only one that met expectations, while the others exceeded expectations. The hard 6 showed up 4 times, more than any other hard way set, and was the dominant hard way bet. And lastly, over to our horn rolls, the 11 was the dominant horn roll here, showing up nearly twice as many times as expected, with the 3 and the 12 essentially meeting expectations, and the 2 just fell a roll short, thereabouts, of expectations. We had 15 horn rolls over the course of these 80 rolls. We only had Sabas twice, and the first Saba that did repeat ended up hitting 3 consecutive times. Now let's take a look at how these 5 shooters compared to all the dice data we collected on the 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. Our blue bars here represent our 5 shooters, which accounts for 80 rolls, whereas the gray bars are all the data collection videos that we did, which consisted of a total of 249 rolls. So to do an apples to apples here, we have everything on a percentage basis. I would say both of these data sets are relatively normalized distribution curves. They both represent a bell curve that might be slightly skewed left of 7. And I would say these 2 data sets compared to each other are relatively complementary. We see our shooters falling short on the low numbers versus the data set, and maybe coming out a little bit more favorably on the higher numbers versus the initial data set. And splitting all of those rolls out by sister sets, again here in the purple represents our 80 rolls by our shooters, and the gray bars representing the 249 rolls in the 4 videos that we collected our data sets. So again, here you can see a normal, fairly normal standard distribution to the expected curve, with again some offsets in the 3 and 11 and the 5 and 9, but everything else looks pretty much on point for what we expected to see. So if we split the 1, 2, 1, 2 set out, so every time our shooters threw the 1, 2, 1, 2, we presented that against the actual data collection 1, 2, 1, 2 dice set that we threw. So notice our shooters did not produce any 2s and 3s, and they really threw a lot fewer 6s than what our dice data collection showed, significantly fewer. Our shooters produced fewer 7s with the 1, 2, 1, 2 dice set than what we did in our data collection dice set. But notice the advantage the shooters seem to have with the 4, the 5, the 8, the 9, the 11, the 12. So it was really interesting to see what this did in the game versus us just constantly throwing a 1, 2, 1, 2 back to back to back. And when combining that into the sister sets, you can really see those drastic swings. It was, either favoring the shooter or favoring the dice data set. But the shooter seemed to have normal distribution in the 2 and 12, the 3 and 11, the 4 and 10, and then was very advantaged in the 5 and 9, underperformed in the 6 and 8, but also underperformed in the 7, which was great for the game. And pulling the 1, 2, 1, 3 set out of our shooters' rolls and comparing that to the data collection effort that we made, you do see a lot of discrepancies here as well. Notably, the 6 drastically outperformed what we expected by more than 2x. The 5 drastically underperformed by over 4x. So we had some wild swings here as well, but ultimately we underperformed again on the 7, which was ideal. Combining these into sister sets, we do see some interesting distribution. The 6 and 8 were majorly advantaged, 2x the standard, and even more than that in our data collection efforts. And the 3 and the 11 were also strong performers, but you can see everything else really fell short of expectations and fell short of what our dice data collection set told us we should have hit. Now, the 1, 2, 1, 4 set is a really interesting breakout by our shooter, because you'll recall we only threw this on a come out roll while the puck was off. And you can see we outperformed on our 7s. So our dice data collection told us we were going to throw that 22.7% of the time, and we threw it 29.2% of the time. Actually did a really nice job in exceeding expectations when it came to winning on the pass line, if you will. And I also look over at the 11 too. Yeah, that's where we'd win on the pass line as well with that dice set. That came out basically what our data collection told us, but it was short of the standard. And what would hurt us on that pass line would be a 2, 3, and 12. While we didn't roll any 2s or 12s, you can see we did get a number of 3s, 12.5% versus a standard of 5.6 versus an actual dice set data collection of only 2.3. So, we gave a little bit back in rolling 3s on a come out roll, but the 7 definitely showed up nicely as expected with this dice set. It's not really worth analyzing the sisters here with this dice set because it was only for come out rolls, but you can see there were no 2s and 12s, which wouldn't have hurt us on the pass line. The 3 and 11, the 3 did offset the 11, and then the 7 won us on the pass line. And everything else you see up there is just establishing a point and then changing the dice set. And lastly, looking at our 1, 2, 1, 5 dice set breakout, we're not going to spend much time talking about this. We only threw it 10% of the time. And if you remember, we were only going to introduce it into our dice set rotation once we were in the profit. So we only threw this dice set 8 times. It was by far the fewest number of times we rolled a dice set in these 4 combinations. And then just staying consistent with the other presentation styles, here's how the sisters of those 8 rolls played out for us. And to sum up the 1, 2, 1x dice set, I would say this is a playable combination. We yielded 80 rolls across our 5 shooters, and the normal distribution curve looked intact. We did see some offsets and underperformances and outperformances, but overall the data seemed to balance each other out. Between the 1, 2, 1, 2, the 1, 2, 1, 3, we were able to outrun the 7. We only saw the 6 outperforming the 7, but the 7 showed up fewer times than we did expect, except for when we rolled the 1, 2, 1, 4, which is when we expected the 7. The 6, 10, and 11 performed better than their standards as well, and as we saw in the charts, the 5 and the 4 grossly underperformed. Hard ways came through for everybody on this one. They either met or outperformed the 8 meeting. The hard 6 appeared 4 times, which was more than any other hard way set. And finally, the horn roll performance, we saw the 11 outperform nearly 2 to 1, with the 3 and the 12 essentially meeting expectations and the 2 just falling short by 1 roll. And the C-horn beta horns were produced 2 times, with the first back-to-back actually hitting 3 consecutive times. So that's going to do it for the 1, 2, 1x series. I really do appreciate you joining me as we went through the data collection process and then rolling it out in the simulation. If there are any specific dice sets you would like me to focus on next, please feel free to drop those in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for joining me on this extended episode, and I really hope you have a great rest of your day. And I hope to see you on the next one of What Are the Odds?